Picture this. Have you ever had a moment, a single choice or event that changed everything? Maybe it didn't seem like a big deal at the time, a split second decision, an unexpected detour, unexpected challenge, whatever. But here's the thing, those moments, they're the spark for transformation. Stay with me, stick with it, lock in. Ready? Let's go. In the hero's journey, we call that the call to adventure. It's the nudge, the push, the shove that takes you out of your comfort zone and into the unknown. But in real life, those calls aren't always as obvious, and they can often be disguised as like inconveniences, challenges, or even opportunities that we might be too scared to take. Welcome back to Self Found. I'm Yaya, and this is the second episode to the Transformation Blueprint, where we walk through the hero's journey in real life. Today, we're diving into the call to adventure, what it means, how to recognize it in your own life, how the conflicts they bring shape your journey, and why answering to it is the first step to becoming the hero of your own story. And I'll share the most transformative and terrifying call I've ever faced because every story starts with a choice. And your story starts now. Picture this. In every great story, there's a moment where the hero there's a moment where the hero's ordinary world is shaken up. Something throws them off balance, a challenge they can't ignore, a problem that just needs to be solved, an opportunity that's just too big to pass up. Something. Something comes and takes them out of where they are. This is called the call to adventure. It's the moment that demands action. And here's the thing, it's not always loud and dramatic. In stories where the hero gets a letter from Hogwarts or something like that, it's not filled with fanfare in real life. There's not applause or this big giant thing of anticipation all the time. In real life, our calls often come in these quiet nudges. It can be a new job opportunity, a tough conversation we've been avoiding, or even something small like trying out a new hobby. Other times, they can be life altering. You could lose a loved one, you could be facing a health crisis, you could be forced to completely start over. No matter how this call to adventure shows up in your life, it is a turning point. It's life saying, it's time to grow. And that's the tricky part. Real life doesn't come with a narrator telling us, this is our moment. This is the moment. The call to adventure in real life, in the real world, is subtle. They're not dragons to slay, they're decisions to make, they're obstacles to face, they're paths to choose. And even if there is no choice at all, you're still making a choice. So think back to the last episode where we talked about your ordinary world, your routines, your habits, little details that make up your life, that make up who you are. And now imagine this. You're driving to work and traffic forces you to take a different route. This, as simple as it is a call to adventure. It's a mini call to adventure. It's small, but it's disruptive. And those disruptions, they're the beginning of transformation. Calls don't always feel exciting, and in actuality, they often feel inconvenient and uncomfortable. Sometimes they can be terrifying. But the key is recognizing them as what they are, which is simply an invitation to change. When a call to adventure comes, it often creates conflict. It's going to create conflict. It's going to create conflict. It's because calls push you out your comfort zone. So you're going to feel a lot of discomfort. You're going to feel internal and external conflict. And let's talk about exactly even what that means. Internal conflict, this is a voice in your head saying, what if I fail? What if I'm not ready? What do people think? It's this internal doubt, this self-doubt, this unknowing fear, this temptation to stay where you are and stay where you're comfortable because I'm not ready. And the only person telling me I'm not ready is me. An external conflict, on the other hand, comes from outside forces. It's people around you questioning your decisions and your choices. It's these societal expectations. It's financial limitations. It can be nature itself. It's anything outside of who you are. Here's the thing, check it out. No matter where the conflict is coming from, it's a sign. It's life saying you've got to make a choice, and the choice you make shapes your story. That's the whole point here. Make a choice, but remember that your choice does matter. Everything matters. Why does it matter? Because how you respond to these conflicts defines your journey. Your first step dictates your next. Internal conflict shows us that who you are, shows us who you are on the inside. And external conflict reveals what you're willing to fight for. And together, these forces really, they shape you and they test your resolve, they challenge your identity, and ultimately they prepare you for what's ahead. And when you understand these conflicts, you can start to navigate them with clarity and with courage. And that's an important piece here. We're going to get into that with the other episodes. That's an important piece here. Clarity and courage. For me, one of my greatest calls to adventure was when I faced a health crisis. And it turned my life upside down, all the way, flipped right over. One day, I'm living my ordinary life. I'm working, I'm spending time with my friends, planning for my future, I'm living my best life, and the next thing you know, everything falls apart. I didn't choose it. I sure as hell didn't want it, but I couldn't ignore it. I was fired from my job. All of my friendships fell apart, and the future that I envisioned for myself vanished overnight. I was in a sunken place. It was dark. It was scary. I was lost. I was angry. And for a long time, I did resist the challenge. I resisted the challenge. This couldn't be my story. Like, this is not my testament. This is not my future. That's what I kept telling myself. But the more I fought it, the harder things got, genuinely. And I resisted at first because I was scared. I was overwhelmed. And really, genuinely, truly, I had no idea what to do. I was lost, bro. There was no hope. Truly, like, that's really where I was at. And it wasn't until I fully accepted my situation. It wasn't until I embraced the reality of what I was facing that I began to find my strength. That acceptance didn't just change my health. It changed my perspective, my relationship, my approach in life. It completely altered the way in which I was maneuvering in every aspect of my being. And eventually, I realized that this challenge was pushing me to grow in ways that I never expected. It forced me to see my life differently, to ask questions I hadn't asked before, to take intentional steps towards a path of progress. And that's what these calls do. That's the crux of it. That's the lesson here. That's what these calls do. They don't just shake up your life, they force you to redefine it. And now it's your turn. I challenge you to start looking for the calls to adventure in your own life. Your life. They might be big, like a career change, a major life event, but they could also be small. They can be insignificant, like trying something new, taking a risk you've been avoiding, having a conversation, going to that store. Start by asking yourself these questions. 1, what's disrupting my routine right now? 2, where do I feel tension and resistance in my life? 3, what decisions have I been putting off and why? Why have you been doing that? 4, are there opportunities I've been too scared to take? Risks that I've been too scared to take? 5, that's the 5th. This is 5. What's pushing me out of my comfort zone and how am I responding to it? That last part matters because the truth is, the call to adventure is always there. The question is, how will you answer it? And here's a bonus tactic for me that works. It's something that I've been doing for months, self-auditing. And really what this is you just write down the moments in your life that feel different. The ones that catch you off guard or might make you pause for a little bit. Like, what was that? You know what I'm saying? And over time, you'll start to see these patterns in but these patterns will reveal your call for you. Like, they'll show you what makes you feel uncomfortable, what makes you feel uneasy, what disrupts like your spirit. And when you are doing this, when you are taking these notes, don't just capture the surface level details. Go deep. Write down um details. Details, the situation, what happened, how did it disrupt your day? Be specific about your mental state. Were you excited? Were you scared? Were you annoyed? Were you overwhelmed? What was your emotional response? How did you feel? Did you feel hopeful? Did you feel fearful, frustrated? Did you feel relieved? Your physical reaction. Did your body tense up? How did you feel? Like a rush of energy? Did you freeze? Did you like hesitate? The conclusion, like, what did you do? What did it make you do? Did you respond in that moment? Did you lean in or did you shy away? All of that, when you put all of that together, it's incredibly powerful. And I'm going to give you an example. So just the other day, and I think this isn't a great example. I think this will be a great example because it's really not serious. Like, it's really not that deep. It's seemingly insignificant. But again, remember, the little things are the threads that are woven together to make up the tapestry of your life. So these little things, these insignificant moments in your life matter, and they will add up and they will culminate into these big leaps that will shape your identity and your belief systems and how you interact with people. All right, so story time. One day, my manager randomly sends me this meeting invite, and it's an hour and a half long. No agenda, no explanation, nothing. That's way longer. That's longer than a typical meeting. Like, so naturally, I'm feeling uneasy. My mind started racing a little bit. I started feeling a little nervous, slightly annoyed. And I thought to myself, either this is going to be something bad or a waste of time. Either way, it's going to be something bad. Like, either way, it's not good. And even though I was confident, I didn't do anything wrong. Like, I'm cool. I couldn't shake the feeling of anxiety. I really couldn't. My chest started to feel tight. I had like this dull pain in my stomach. And I could have just sat with those feelings, spiraling into assumptions and stress. But instead, I decided to lean in. I emailed my manager and just simply asked, what do you want? Like, what's the purpose of this meeting? You know, I said it professionally and shit. And that one small action, choosing curiosity over fear, completely changed the situation. And it really wasn't even nothing bad. It was a touch base, and she wanted to know my objectives for the new year. So, a waste of time. But this is what I mean by recognizing calls to adventure. They're not always dramatic moments. Sometimes they're as small as a meeting invite that disrupts your day and annoys you. What matters is how you respond. That's the whole point. And over time, you'll recognize that moments of fear or tension are actually opportunities for growth. So you don't got to learn that. I just told you. You're welcome. The goal here isn't to judge yourself, but to become aware. When you start noticing how you respond to the small disruptions in your life, and the choices that you make in your life, you'll start to see the bigger picture, the moments that are quietly shaping your story. In the hero's journey, the call to adventure is just the beginning. It's the moment that asks you to step forward, to take a risk, and to trust your ability to grow and adapt. And in the next stage of the hero's journey, we'll dive into what happens when you answer the call. The doubts, the fears, the tests, and the everything of stepping into the unknown. But for now, I want you to leave with this. The moment you stop resisting and start embracing the challenges in your life, transformation begins. You're welcome.